In this video, we're breaking down 10 beginner tips to actually start winning more games in College Football 26. Now, everyone loves winning, and in my years of playing competitive college football and Madden, I've won tens of thousands of dollars, and these are all things that I've personally used to help me win more games. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, let's get into the video. It's so important that you know how to pass the ball at a high level in College Football 26. No matter what type of player you are, you're going to be in a situation where you need to pass. So let's talk about the different pass types you could do. If you just tap the icon of a receiver, you're going to do a lob pass like you saw right there. That's going to get that ball super high, super arcing, kind of drop in the bucket. That's just by tapping the receiver icon. But if we hold the receiver icon down, like we do there, that's going to get more of a bullet pass. Now, a little tip for you is that all the best players in the world, they almost never will lob pass. But they'll do bullet passes and combine it with something else. We'll talk about that in a second. Next thing we're going to talk about is pass leading. So we've talked about the idea of bullet passes. Now let's talk about how do we pass lead and what is pass leading. Let's say a hypothetical right here. When X goes downfield, there's a defender on his outside. So I'm going to push the left stick in and pass lead this bad boy all the way inside to get him inside that defender. All you do to do that is push the left stick in when you're throwing the ball. Okay? What's the rule of thumb? How do you know where to pass lead? You just want to pass lead and push this left stick wherever the defense isn't. So let's say the defense isn't to the outside. I'm going to pass lead this all the way to the outside. Notice how by changing my pass lead, I can make this play look, or I can make this throw and this route look drastically different. Right here, I'm going to pass lead B inside a little bit, and he's going to catch that kind of back shoulder. Now I'm going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to pretend like he has a step on his defender. So we're going to throw it out in front of him, and it's going to be an easier catch. Notice how so much changes just by pushing the left stick. So we have different throwing types. We have different pass leading. Let's talk about different catch types. This right here is a possession catch. That's holding A or X on PlayStation. And a possession catch is really nice because it's going to literally just get your receiver down as soon as he gets his hands on the ball. This is great for avoiding linebackers over the middle, a deep safety, or just making sure you secure the catch. That's holding A or X. This right here is a rack catch. That's holding X on Xbox or square on PlayStation. The rack catch is really good for making sure that you get yards after the catch. Right here, we hold it. You just got to hold it. That's all you got to do. After you decide which receiver you're throwing to, you're going to hold that icon of the catch type you want to make. So we have possession catch. We have rack catch. This right here is the aggressive catch, holding Y or triangle. This is good if you're throwing something in traffic or you're kind of throwing maybe more of a jump ball, something like this, where you'd want to attack that ball at its highest point. You're going to hold Y or triangle. So we have possession catch, which is going to be A or X. We have rack catch, which is going to be X or square. And then we have aggressive catch, which is Y or triangle. You see right here, go for the aggressive catch, right, attack it at its highest point. Now, there is this idea called highballing, and this is what all the best players in the world do when they're passing, but we'll talk about that later in this video. Let's hit the pause button and go into our options. We'll go into settings right here, and let's talk about our passing mechanics. Now, this is a lot of preference-based stuff, but this is just what I have right now. Passing type is placement and accuracy. If you want to go placement, you could. I think classic passing is just really outdated and they're not using it a ton anymore. And revamped, I don't love revamped passing, although I do know some people like it. I use placement and accuracy. We're going to go pass lead increase to none, and then we're going to go reticle speed to 7. User only, user only. We'll probably have videos in the future breaking these down more, but right now, this is just what I'm using. Now, one of the best ways to make sure you're actually winning more games is to make sure you're calling the right plays, which is where my website, civil.gg, comes in. We have over 2,000 active members, with 98% of them saying they've won more games since joining. There, you'll find full offensive and defensive schemes built for people of all skill levels and any game mode. And to celebrate the launch of College Football 26, we're doing a 40% off sale for yearly memberships right now using code COLLEGE40. Click the link in the top description, and you will unlock everything you need for an entire year to win more games. And now once you do that, let's get back to the video. Now, I want to give you guys one of the best and easiest pass plays to use in College Football 26. I call this play all the time. This is Flood from the gun Y-off trio close formation. You can find this inside of the Boston College, BYU, Charlotte, Oregon State, and Rutgers offensive playbooks. My favorite of those, though, is the Oregon State playbook. That's actually the one I rock all this time. And when we call this play, we can either just snap the ball, like make not a single adjustment, snap the ball, look for the out route first, then we're gonna work our way into the zig and work our eyes back inside, or we can make one single adjustment. When we do, we're going to press Y or triangle, select the ISO wide receiver. So right now, we have the ISO on the right side. He's B. and then we're going to put him on a return route by going down on the D-pad. These return routes are one of the best routes in the game. You want to get a lot of these on the field. So our reads on this play, we're first going to check this out route, then we're going to work our eyes to the zig, and then we're going to go all the way back inside to this return route. These work really, really well together. Right there, out route's open. Bang, we're going to get them, okay? Let's go again. We'll work through those same reads. This time, I'm going to force myself not to throw the out route just to show off another route on this play. So, first out route, not there. Okay, we're going to go inside to that zig route. Then our next read would be that return route. We'd work all the way back in. A pro tip for you on this play is to keep your trips to the wide side of the field. Wherever there's more space, you just want this play to be very well spaced out. Let's snap the ball again. We'll go zig, bang, awesome. It's an easy completion against so many different defenses. And at the play call screen, remember, right trigger, you can flip all of your plays. So you can run this either side whenever you want to. Defense is very, very hard in College Football 26. A lot of people are struggling to get stops. And in this segment, I'm going to talk about 3 basic coverages you can start running right now that'll get you a lot more stops. So I'm in the 4-2-5 defensive playbook in the 4-2-5 over G formation. Keep in mind, we're talking about concepts here. So whatever formation or playbook you're in will work. It's just, this is concepts, okay? This isn't exact play calls in this segment. Our first play we're talking about is going to be the cover 2. You'll also see it's called Tampa 2. So we're going to select this bad boy, go up against a random play on offense, and let's take a look at our defense right here. This is what things should look like. Now, our user defender, the guy we are using, we want to be one of these yellow zones. Either this guy or this guy. We don't actually want him to be the mid-read. We want the mid-read to be the CPU defender, okay? So we want to be over here on this hook curl. We'll do that right now. That's fine. This is a very bend but don't break style of defense. Right there, we actually play great run D. We love that. But they're going to be able to pass underneath on this, and that's okay. And by the way, if you're wondering how I'm able to switch between these players like this, just back and forth, if you hold B or circle and then use the D-pad or the left stick, you can actually direct where you want to change to. If you just tap it, you're going to go in kind of a random order consistently, okay? So again, we're using one of these yellow zones who isn't the mid-read, and then we have our area of the field we want to take away. It's a run right here. We're going to get downhill, and we're able to go flow to the ball pretty easily. Let's see what this the offense does this play. Maybe they go to a pass. Nope, they go to another run. Awesome. We're able to play pretty decent run defense. This isn't great run defense, but it does an okay job, all right? So Tampa 2 is our first style of defense. And by the way, real fast, just so you know, I'm not totally just making this up. We are playing against Heisman. Keep that in mind, okay? So our next coverage we want to talk about is cover 3. I don't care if you call cover 3 match, cover 3 sky. All of these are going to be the same once we're done making our adjustments, okay? Because when we call cover 3 match, let's go up against a random defense. We're going to press wire triangle and go down on the right stick. That's going to shade our coverage underneath and create a cover 3 hard flat, all right? So when we have cover 3 hard flat, this just could be cover 3 with our flats playing very aggressively underneath. That's the type of throw we're trying to bait them into. So again, in cover 3, we want to press wire triangle down on the right stick to create this look. You could do this from cover 3 sky, cover 3 match, cover 3 buzz, whatever it might be. And if they throw that, that's okay. Our user does need to make that tackle, though, but you get the idea. Okay, wire triangle, down the right stick. Cool. Let's see what we have right here. We're going to go a little play action. Look for a deep shot. So that's one of the weaknesses in our cover 3, though, is that seam. So keep that in mind when you are one of these user hook curls that you are weak in the seam, and that's a little bit more of your responsibility. So if you see someone go in that area, you have to be willing to get up there. We go right here. Awesome, good D. Then we'll throw that. Boom. And we're actually able to get a nice interception right there. Your opponent will move the ball on you. You will not stop every single play. If you think you will, you probably shouldn't play the game. Like, that's just not how defense works unless you're a great defensive player and have a great defense. The next coverage we want to talk about is cover 2 man. Let's call this, and let's go up against a random play again. For this to work, we're just going to press wire triangle and then down on the left stick to make sure all of our players are pressing. I like to use the guy on the halfback. So in this case, we have the guy made up on the halfback. And we're just going to mirror wherever the halfback goes. Okay, if he's on a route, we're going to mirror him. If he's running the ball, whatever. Right here, it's 5 wide. I'm actually just going to take the innermost wide receiver. This can be tough, though, so sometimes I'll even hop on a safety just to make sure I'm not going to Yeah, it just makes it a little bit easier on myself. Cover 2 man is a very sticky coverage. So you do have that. Let's go here. I'm on that halfback again. We're going to press, actually. Almost forgot. That's wire triangle down the left stick. It's going to be a run play. Good job. Awesome. One of the reasons I like doing this from 4-2-5 is because this has very good just built-in run defense with 4 defensive linemen, 2 backers. It's not the best thing ever, but it's pretty solid. As we, whenever I say things like that, usually we get absolutely gashed, but it doesn't happen right there. Thank you. All right, let's see what happens here. We're on that halfback. It is another run. That time we're able to get a shed off the edge. Awesome. We love it. This is 3 easy defensive shells, defensive plays that you can call that I think are a great starting point. This will not stop everything, but this will do a decent job. Now, I think everybody should run some version of this play in College Football 26. It's so good, it's so easy, and let's talk about it. If you go into your concepts and you go to option, and then you go to RPO Read, RPO reads are some of the best plays in the game, and my favorite way to run an RPO read is actually out of a trips formation, so any trips. Right now, we're in the gun trips tight end offset week. This is Georgia's offensive playbook, but it's found in all the playbooks that you see on the screen right here. My favorite one is the RPO read bubble. If we call this, you'll see this is actually 3 plays built into 1 play. Don't believe me? Let's work this through. First of all, it's a read option. So right here, we're actually going to pull the ball at their QB and get out. We're going to slide down, avoid a hit. Okay, that's the first play because we can keep it with the read option or we can hand that ball off. That's 2 different, right? That's 2 different plays basically. Okay. To keep it with your quarterback, you're going to hold A or X. That's going to pull the ball at the QB. To hand it off, you're going to press nothing. So let's watch this R icon right here and let's see what he does. He's going to stand up. So I'm going to hand this ball off. How did I hand it off? You press nothing to hand it off, but to keep it, you hold Air X. So we have that kind of understood, I think. The next part of this play is the bubble. That's our B wide receiver right here. Now, to throw this, you're just going to hold his icon down. You want to give him a bullet pass. He's not always going to be open, but you'll find a good amount of the time he can be. You do want to make that read, though. A lot of people try only looking at the P icon for this. So if we take a look at the defense, the P icon is right here. There he is. He finally set. It takes a second for it to set. That's a good one to look at, but really, I just like to look at that entire area of the field that we're attacking and see if that area is open. Right there we have it, so we're going to hit him. The ideal, and he actually shedded very fast. That happens. Ideally, we're able throughout a game to run this play and make it look like 3 different plays with the keeper, with the handoff, and with the RPO. This time, looks like we have some numbers out there. Bang. Easy yardage, as you can see. I recommend so highly that everybody runs some sort of RPO read in their offense. They're easy. They're pretty low risk as soon as you get the reads down. And when you get it, they're so good. Try to slide with the QBs, though. Avoid taking a hit. This is the biggest reason why you're giving up random 1-play touchdowns in College Football 26. It's because your defense is doing something you don't even realize. Let's take a look right here at this outside corner on the left. He's in a deep zone. It looks like he's in an outside third as part of a cover 3. But when I snap this ball, watch what that outside corner on the left does right here. We're going to snap it, and he's actually going to match and follow that post all the way across, leaving open his entire area of the field. That's because we were accidentally, without even knowing, in match coverage. You see, on defense, every play has a tag. It has match, it has blitz. You'll see some plays have a tag of zone. You'll even see some that have man. But what a lot of people don't know is that cover 3 blitzes are actually match coverage. So if we call this play right here, which is a cover 3 blitz, we're going to get match right here. I can prove it to you because when I snap this play, you're going to see that outside corner on the left match across, leave his entire area open. To get rid of this match, which I recommend you do, you're going to press Y or triangle on defense, then go down or up on the right stick. That's going to shade your coverage. I prefer to go down. For this, doesn't matter. So down right here, we're going to look. Now we have cover 3 with hard flats. By shading our coverage, watch that outside corner on the left. Remember, we're expecting him to play in a deep third. We're going to go to it now and watch what he does. He plays in that deep third, and he's there to make the interception on this ball. This will help you. It's so important that you know where your players are actually playing on defense to avoid any kind of random 1-play touchdown. One of the coolest things you could do in this game is to be a quarterback, lead your receiver into open space, and just find an absolute dime to him like we did right there. That's called QB Playmakering, and let's talk about how to actually do it. So to QB Playmaker, it's actually really easy. What you need to do is hold the left trigger, which is L2 on PlayStation, and then just flick the right stick in any direction. Now, this is going to put the closest receiver to you going that direction. Like, he will now reroute into that direction. Keep in mind, though, like right here, I'm going to try doing A to the left. It's hard for A to go to the left when he's already going all the way. Like, he's already running in the right direction. So it's like, this case, I'm holding left trigger, pushing A to the left. And right there, he actually ends up stopping, which is, it's just tough for him to change directions from like a drag stance where he's, going horizontal. But if we go curl route right here, look, I can go A in any direction. I'll go A to the left right here, and he easily does it. So keep in mind that player momentum does play a factor right here. Let's go again and just show A again on a, let's go this time diagonal. We're going to go up and out. That's a great way to do it. You can do this in any direction. I tried to spec catch right there. You could do it in literally any direction and do it. Right? I love doing it for drags in this situation where we're going to throw it up just over the defense. Imagine a zone defense kind of closing in on a scrambling QB. Again, just hold that left trigger, L2, flick that right stick in whatever direction you want, and throw it. If you do not hold left trigger, your QB will perform a juke move or some kind of ball carrier move. So keep that in mind, right? Like you see right here, doing all these different moves. We are not QB Playmakering. QB Playmakering, though, really good way to make a broken play into a big play. On defense, if we click the right stick in, we're going to bring up our coaching adjustments. I'm going to speed run and tell you all the coaching adjustments that I recommend you use, starting with our auto foot defensive play call. We want this to be on. Why? Because this will match up the strength of our defense with the strength of the offense. We don't want those flip-flop. We want our strength on their strength. Quarterback matchups, keep this to balance. All the other ones are kind of bugged. It's kind of like a well-known secret, actually, that these are all a little bit bugged and will cause weird misalignments. Just keep this at balance. It's a great just rule of thumb. Defensive motion response, I like this at default because I want my defense to respond to motion. Option read key. This is a guy who's playing read options. We want him on conservative to focus on the QB. Make them hand that ball off. Option pitch key. I want this guy on aggressive because I want them to have to keep the speed options, right? Those options have pitches. Keep it with their QB. I feel like those are usually not as big of plays, and we can then wear and tear their QB. RPO read key, I want this on conservative. This is just a read option key again. And RPO pass key, I want this on conservative because I want my RPO pass guy to play the RPO, not give up the bubble to defend the run. Strip ball and tackling will both be left at default. Zone drops will all be left at default unless there's a specific situation we're trying to play for, or it's a specific scheme we're running. Safety depth, width, and midpoint. The main one I adjust here is going to be the safety depth. If I'm playing a runner, I'll go tight or close. Tight is really giving up the pass. Close, you can do good pass defense still while having them in the box to help defend against the run. These are our coaching adjustments, and to bring these up again, remember, it's just simply click the right stick in. This is a general guideline. Of course, these can differ for each player and each scheme. This is one of the biggest skill gaps when it comes to playing defense in College Football 26. This is the art of usering. Now, usering, all that means is when you're on defense, it's the defender that you're literally usering, right? So in this case, I'm going to user Parker, who's this edge defender blitzing the QB. Now, there's something to keep in mind in that we typically do not want to user a defensive lineman or anybody blitzing. And the reason for that is the CPU does a pretty decent job already at rushing the quarterback, and we just can't add a ton to that as a user. But in coverage, we can add so much in coverage. Okay, so let's snap this ball, and we're using a linebacker right here. I'm taking away this drag. Okay, now I'm working my way back here, and we're able to get an interception. So our user defender is the biggest factor in getting turnovers on defense. And turnovers, guess what? Will win you games. Now, rules of thumb for who to user. And right now, by the way, I'm just zoning out these two defensive ends just so I get less of a pass rush and we're able to get more time to actually showcase this in play. So I like to user somebody who's in a yellow zone. Okay, so right here we have a yellow hook curl, and then we have a yellow hook curl from Brown. I don't love using these guys in deep zones. It's just because if you mess up, right, and let's say, you're deep zone, you fight way too, or you go way too far down, well, you can give up one play touchdown. We don't want that much risk, right? Whereas a yellow zone, let's say we mess up right here, well, the payment or the punishment for that isn't nearly as bad. It's not one play touchdown, typically. Another one you could user are these flat zones. I don't do these very often, but you could, and they can be kind of cool sometimes to user as well. But rule of thumb, usering a yellow zone. Now, what are our rules of thumb when actually usering? Like, what does that look like? Well, thank you for asking. First of all, we want to make sure we're protecting our area. So if any routes go into our area of the field, like this drag right here, we want to make sure we get down there. I'm using 2 controllers, so I just missed that ball, but you get the idea, right? Then, on top of that, we want to try to bait different routes that might be breaking into the play or breaking into our area late. So let me show you what that kind of looks like. If we look at this route combo, we can see this drag from RB immediately attacks our area. Then this in route from B attacks it late. So what I might do is I'm on this drag, okay? Now I'm breaking up to this route, and we're able to get there and help make a play, make a deflection, get it in completion, or potentially get an interception, okay? So that's usering in a nutshell. How do we actually do this? When the ball is snapped, we're just going to use the left stick until we dedicate ourselves into one direction. So here, once I decide which direction I'm going to actually commit to, I'm going to hold that turbo button. Until then, it's all left stick. Some people will strafe using left trigger or L2. You can. I don't strafe too often. I typically will do something like this. So, right, we're all left stick, okay. Oh, I'm going up to B. Now I'm holding turbo to help get myself up there, and we're running with him with turbo, right? So you want to use turbo when you commit. The next thing we can do, which is kind of an important thing to keep in mind, is that we have a lot of free range as a user. So if I see this comeback route developing on the left side, I could actually potentially get over there and go jump this route and kind of throw my opponent kind of off guard, because you would almost never see this player make a play all the way out here. But in this case, we do, because we recognize it as a user. That's very basic usering tips in College Football 26. This will be the difference between you winning and losing a ton of games in College Football 26. We're talking about field goal kicking right here. First, let's go into our options. Let's go into settings, and we want to scroll down to kicking control scheme. I want this at tap and hold. Now, the first part of tap and hold is deciding when you're going to tap the A button on Xbox or X on PlayStation. When you tap this, you will hold it down, but you want to base it on this little kind of meter bouncing back and forth, and you want to get it in the green ideally. So boom, and then we're going to hold it down and let go of that button right at the top of the meter. If we watch this replay back and you watch this meter fill up, we want to let go of it right before it fills up this red at the top of the meter. If in this instance, let's say, we get pretty good accuracy on this, but we hold it too long, and actually I held it just barely long enough, so that was really, really good. If we hold it too long, though, what's going to happen is that we're going to get a big accuracy penalty. See right there? Huge accuracy penalty, and the kick goes haywire. So we want to let go of this icon right before it fills up this red arrow, just like that. We're going to get almost maximum power while keeping our accuracy. Now, my next tip is that I like to watch this bounce off one edge to try to time it in the middle. So I like to watch it from the right side just because I find it a little bit easier than trying to trace it back and forth, back and forth. So I recommend trying to get this into a little bit of a rhythm and not just totally try just guessing. Right there, I tapped A way too soon, so that, nice. But let's see if we can nail this bad boy. Actually, let's do a tough kick right here. Let's back this up. This is way too far. This is insane. Can we nail this? Oh my gosh. Please? Huh. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think we came up short. That's like how far is that? We're at the 43. It's just too far. We don't have the power for that. So let's talk run game in College Football 26. This is one of the biggest things that so many people do just a really bad job with. I want to make sure you're in a good spot. So when it comes to running, the first tip I'm going to talk about here is right trigger is turbo. That's R2 on PlayStation. With that being said, you do not want to hold turbo until you're in the open field. First of all, think of it in real life. Would you want to start going turbo immediately right here as soon as you get the ball? No, it's going to make cutting back and forth really, really hard. So you don't want to do that until you see an open lane. Instead, you want to totally use the left stick and look for the left stick to steer you in different directions based on what holes are opening up. So we go right here. I'm actually going to cut this up, and that's all that's all left stick right there. Nothing else but left stick to cut that bad boy up. And remember, just because a run looks like it's going a certain way, a lot of runs are very much hole-based. So where you see holes develop, you're going to cut back, you're going to cut outside, you're going to bounce outside, whatever it might be. Right here, I'm actually going to cut this all the way back, and we're able to get a nice gain of 4, which in the run game's really good. Now, I will use turbo as soon as I see myself, I'm like, hey, I want to hit this area. I will use turbo at that point. Let's go right here. We're going to cut this one up again. I'm holding turbo now. right? As soon as I made that cut, I saw the open grass. I decided to hold turbo at that point. Next thing I want to say, and this is just a good rule of thumb to keep in mind, is that not all runs are created equal. So find the runs that you like, that you have success with, and stick with them, right? A lot of things like inside zones are really, really good. Something like a toss, though, can be a little bit hit or miss. A pistol stretch is actually super hit or miss. Fun fact, with the right stick, with a lot of runs, you can actually flip these to go either way. So right here, we're actually able to flip this to go to the left side, or we can flip it to go to the right. This play originally was a right side run. Right there, I held turbo as soon as I decided I wanted to try getting outside. So let's take a look at this stretch again right here. If I flick my right stick to the left, bang, now we're going to the left. So you can just purely count the numbers and decide which way you want to run. Good rule of thumb is that you want to run away from the strength of defense. I'm holding right trigger right here, bang, now we're getting out. And then I use the best ball carrier move in the game, which is the stiff arm. Stiff arm's very, very good. I wouldn't call it overpowered, I don't think, but it's super, super good in College Football 26. To stiff arm, when somebody gets close to you, you just want to tap and kind of spam A or X on PlayStation to lay that stiff arm out on them. So we get somebody kind of close to us, we could go stiff arm, and you won't always get it, but it does a pretty good job. Another move I like is just tapping B or circle. That's kind of a quick spin move, so that's something to keep in mind as well. I like that when we have someone kind of head up on us. Let's go here. Skirt. Right there's a good example. We were able to make one person miss with the spin. You can also use the left stick to kind of like steer your spin in a certain direction. And from there, we're just hooping after that, right? Go here, we have a run we like. We're gonna cut this all the way up. Boom. Touchdown. Now, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out my website, civil.gg, because we have a ton of full offensive and defensive schemes that are proven to actually win you more games. There's over 2,000 active members there using that stuff right now. And with code COLLEGE40, you can get 40% off a yearly membership, unlocking everything you need to actually win more games in College Football 26.